Hello everyone, I'm Bob Guth, the host of the website, The Dawning of Humans Living 200 Years. And you may think, wow, with this COVID-19 epidemic, that's a challenge. And yes, it is a serious world pandemic. In fact, it's not peaked out yet. Last week there were 1,400,000 cases. Yesterday it was 1,900,000 cases. Today is over 2 million worldwide cases of this COVID-19 virus epidemic. And the death toll is not pleasant. 83,000 had died last week. Yesterday it was 120,000, and now today it's 130,000. So it's a serious disease, and we need to survive it, of course. And there are many ways to look at surviving it. One of the first is to avoid the fear, because what's fear going to do? It's going to attract whatever you're afraid of. So whatever you can do to continue to be fairly happy. If you like to listen to music, listen to it. If you like to read jokes or tell jokes, do that. Whatever it takes to be happy and get out of the fear. And the approach by the authorities is effective. Japan resisted it, this social distance thing. And what did Japan find out? They found out their cases were soaring, and they decided they better follow along, so that probably is wise. So beyond that, there are quite a few things that you can do, and we'll take a look at each of these as we go along. It was found that in the country of India, which is right next to China, the number of cases were 1/10 or less. Why is that? People got interested and started looking at it, and they found that in India, it's common to take an herb called Moringa oleifera, which has a substance that seems to be effective in retarding this particular virus. Moringa oleifera works well with another herb called elderberry, so I would suggest that considering to get these wouldn't be a bad idea. Another thing is something called light water, or deuterium depleted water. Normal water has 150 parts per million of what's called heavy water, or deuterium, and this is quite toxic to animals and plants. And it's a fairly high amount, actually. There now are companies making the water that has this deuterium removed. About the best on the market today is 8 parts per million. Now this isn't inexpensive, this is really kind of pricey, but it does boost your immune system. And why this is on the list here is because there are people, professionals, who have been using this light water, drinking this light water, and in close proximity to people who are sufferers, cases of this virus, and have not contacted it, so you might consider getting this light water. Another thing, which is probably my favorite, is colloidal silver. Colloidal silver does disable this virus. It is something you can make yourself. You can buy it from some of your health food stores. But it is definitely an antiviral, antibacterial substance. And it's gotten a bad rap lately because many sites say that, well, you can get gray skin from it, you can get bluish skin, and there are those who have done this. But if you use it with common sense, maybe only 10 days and then take a break, let your body recover, and also eat a lot of raw fats to help remove the residual. Do those two things, and colloidal silver should be a very good adjunct to halting this virus. Brown's gas. The next thing on the list is Brown's gas. And it's been discovered in the East, China, and Europe, that Brown's gas is very effective in reducing inflammation. Most people who die from this COVID-19 do so from pneumonia or inflammation of the lungs. It blocks the breathing. And Brown's gas is very effective in reducing inflammation. It's a little difficult to get, and there are many vendors out there, but you can't get it overnight. And this virus attacks quite fast. Within 2 or 3 days, people can be in serious condition. So this is sort of a preparatory. You want to get some of these things before you might be in need of them. I should say this also about Brown's gas. It is endorsed now in China, the UK, and the EU, European Union, for treatment for this virus. And also in Japan, they use brown gas in some of the resorts now, hot spring resorts. Now, there are some people who say that the Tai Chi tapping can be helpful because we'll talk a little bit later about the frequencies that undermine your health. And they have to do with communication. If you're 5G, you might have heard the term 5G. 5G really means the 5th generation of these cell phone frequencies. And they've evolved to some very frequency ranges like this 25 megahertz that is known to undermine your immune system. So back to this Tai Chi tapping, it is a way to communicate with your cells. So what they do is they just tap the wrists of both hands, the shoulders, and the base of the head, top of the head, and send out the signal and message to communicate to the cells to be healthy. The lymph cleanse is another one that's kind of a favorite of mine, and it very effectively can assist removing all heavy metal toxins out of the body. The lymph cleanse basically consists of coconut cream. You can get some effect with just coconut, fresh coconut, eaten with pineapple, and then jump into a hot bath. And this will activate the lymph system and help to remove the heavy metal toxins. I should also say that there are researchers that have pointed to this particular virus, as COVID-19, as being associated with the metals arsenic and aluminum. And so this lymph cleanse can help remove any trace arsenic and aluminum minerals from your system. And I should also say that along with other practices, exercise certainly is recommended and useful. I remember my own case when I was in my 20s and 30s. If I would catch a cold and not feel well, I'd go out and do a jog anyway, and usually I'd get over it faster. So you want to keep your regular routine up as much as makes sense. But I will say one more thing about exercise. There was a fellow who was sort of a guru in this fitness craze today, named Jack LaLanne. And Jack LaLanne was a very healthy icon. The TV show basically was one of those that founded the fitness clubs and so on. But what about Jack LaLanne that interests me? Well, did he make it to a life past 100? No, he died at age 96 of pneumonia. And that is what usually kills people from this COVID-19 virus. And not only that, he exercised the very day he died, did his regular routine. But exercise isn't really the end-all cure-all. You have to be open to other methods, other techniques besides exercise. And I want to say something about meditation. There is a very remarkable healer these days called Dr. Joe Dispenza. And Joe Dispenza has a powerful case study in a woman named Anna that has to do with meditation and healing. Anna used to be an aerobic instructor before disaster hit her. She used to be in a very powerful financial state before disaster hit her. She was a lady psychiatrist. But then one day, police came to her door, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and showed her a picture of a man who was her husband. They said, "Is this your husband?" And she said, "Yes." "Well, he is suicided today jumping out of a 24-story building. Sorry to tell you." Well, this crushed her, and her health deteriorated week by week, month by month, went to doctor after doctor, and finally she was in a wheelchair and couldn't maintain her job or her children, and was nearing the end. And somebody dragged her to Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he got her into meditation 1 hour a day. You know, he was just adamant. You must meditate 1 hour a day. And after several months of this, she began to get better. And this basically shows that when you get out of your drama, and that's what caused it in the first place, the body goes back to its natural state. So meditation can be a powerful tool. I also recommend veggie juicing because of the dietary aspects. It's something everybody can do, and I would say boost your immune system substantially. Now I want to talk about the problem with a thing today that undermines your immune system. And this is your cell phone communication towers that are everywhere in the big cities. It is no surprise or secret, and this is all over what you call social media, that the outbreaks occurred in cities where these towers were in place and in use. And the best study I've heard about this is a Scientific American article that began to outline the guidelines for that the worldwide countries have to use in these cell phone towers, and said that it was based upon a frequency and a amplitude that was less than what it would take to heat a mouse, you know, microwave type. And that's what was the basis of their worldwide standards, you know. Anyway, later on, studies have been done on mice that were exposed to these frequencies, 5G, that means the 5th generation of these cell phone towers. This particular frequency is quite harmful. It's gigahertz. It should be 25 gigahertz, not megahertz. Anyway, a 2-year study was done on mice exposed to these frequencies, and much damage was found. And the Scientific American magazine has this article mentioned 500 articles about the damage that these frequencies cause. So I even saw a YouTube video on European British people igniting some of these cell phone towers, you know. But anyway, that's one of the problems. What can you do about it? Well, right now you can consume avocados and oranges at the same time. This will help to remove the substances that these cell phone towers create in your cells, and, you know, flush them out of your body. And
1 sec, Bob. Can you back up just a little bit closer to the wall? And I'm going to ask you, and I'll pause it right there. I'm going to ask you. So why? Let me actually restart it, just because it's getting